Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
It does.
You know, we have a caller right now. We actually have John, who has called in to ask a question about selling his home. John, how you doing?
Good. I'm just calling about staging today because I've got a realtor kind of wearing me out on cleaning out my house, and she wants to come in and be able to
Good for that
come
realtor.
in and just, kind of remodel my house before I even sell it. And I'm not real sure I want her to go through all of that and then get rid of all my stuff. Where do I put it? I just don't know what to do.
Well, Lois, you want to kind of field that question?
Well, it's very important that you clean everything out possible because you want the buyer to walk in and feel like they can actually take ownership. If they walk in, they can get overwhelmed with all of your stuff if they have to climb over it. So whenever we stage a home, not only is it about how the pictures will look, but it's also about the second impression. I say there's always two chances to make a first impression. The first time is on the internet. The second time is whenever they actually walk in. So when you stage a home, you want to be able to allow the buyer to walk through and create a flow so that they can walk from room to room easily without tripping and getting hurt and
Plus,
overwhelmed.
you don't want them looking at the house, not your stuff.
Exactly.
And we had one of our great guests on, which was the pods people. It was a great temporary way to take things that you need to declutter your house, put it in a pod. They'll come pick it up from your house. They'll deliver it to your house, pick it up, and then redeliver it to your new location.
Exactly. And just remember, I mean, the realtor is looking out for your best interests. You're a team. So you've hired that realtor to do a job for you, and so cooperate. She's doing it to get you the most that she possibly can. At the end of the day, it's about your bottom line.
But if we're in such a hot market, why would, going through all of this help me so much?
It'll maximize your return.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Plus, it's a good time to start cleaning everything out. You're going to be moving anyway, so go ahead and start packing that stuff up and putting it in storage and, get ready to move on to the next place.
Yeah,
I think no matter what the market is, fast, slow, or otherwise, positioning your home to be the most appealing possible is a good thing in any market. It doesn't matter if it's a slow market.
Wouldn't it be better if it was completely empty and I had nothing
Absolutely
in it, and
not.
they come use all their imagination to come in and do it?
Well, you heard the comments earlier. Most buyers and sellers are kind of linear thinkers. They see what they see. They need to be able to picture furniture in the place, and if you have it empty, it's very hard for them.
Now, I do tell people, though, if you have a home that's been tenant occupied, sometimes it's good to go ahead and let the tenant move out because the tenant doesn't care whether the house sells or not. And so, they may not take care of it, and they may have their furniture all over the place. So that may be a different situation. But for you, it's good to have that couch in the room. Now, if the couch has been worn out by your dog, then maybe it's a good idea to go ahead and get rid of the couch. But just in different circumstances, I guess it would be different. But for the most part, it is good to have some furniture in the house.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Does that answer your question?
No, that's pretty good stuff. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well,
Great call. Great question.
Call right there. It's a good questions, actually.
Yes, and we were talking today about staging, but I want to kind of distinguish with this today is Jessica Brown with JBI LLC, and she is a degreed designer. And so, Jessica, welcome.
Interior architect.
Good morning.
Interior.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. So
happy Easter weekend to everybody.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for that. So kind of tell us what, the people are very familiar with staging. What you do is well beyond staging. Kind of explain what you do.
Okay. I am an interior architect, so my degree encompasses both architecture and design. We go from the blueprints, learning how to do all of the space planning and layouts, electrical plans, the whole gamut, to the actual interior design and decoration with a lighting emphasis as well. I focus on the lighting design. You can change a space dramatically with light. And it goes all the way to the fine furnishings, the lighting, the selections, the soft finishes, the sofas, the rugs. So it takes you, when you go to many builders or companies that say we have everything in-house. We have an architect, we have a designer, I'm kind of that in-house all-in-one.
And that's really good. And that goes for both people who are looking at remodeling their home. I mean, individuals
Yes.
want to bring you in to say, you know
Absolutely.
what, we're really going to be remodeling or redoing something here. Or individuals who are buying a brand new home and want to have you come in and give them assistance. You handle both sides of things, correct?
Absolutely. So, and remodeling is my heart and passion. I absolutely love going in and helping clients have a vision and bring that vision to fruition and really make the home reflect the person that's living there, without it being unattractive, obviously, for future sale. But I do all aspects of that, doing remodeling or doing the new home build. So,
well, that night that I saw you at the event, and we got into a discussion about return on investments and things like that. And there are some things that actually give you more than 100% return on your money invested, which we're talking about maximizing
yes.
your house in this market. And
Yes.
talk about some of those things that give you the best bang for your buck.
So basically, there's a couple things, and this comes up over and over again: kitchen and baths, kitchen and baths, kitchen and baths. You can't say it enough times. I mean, come on,
You can say it one more time. Say it one more
Kitchen
time.
and baths, kitchen and baths. So typically, kind of a rule of thumb, you don't always have to stick to numbers, but 12 to 15% of your house value on a bathroom is a great opportunity to get a nice looking return. Doing updates and making that space look nice. And on the kitchen, they say about 25%. And that's a pretty good number to stick with. Earlier, Rob, you had mentioned mental deductions. And that's when the potential buyers are coming in and they're looking at this kitchen that's totally outdated and thinking in their heads, oh my gosh, it's going to be $40,000 to $50,000 easily just to make it look presentable. And we're not talking about cabinetry or gut out, because a kitchen can easily go up much more. But that's automatic at their mental deduction. Well, take 40, 50 grand right off right there. As a seller, you can go in and do some of these changeovers and architecturally change the space without having it into cabinetry. But you can do some things with your appliances, your sinks, your faucetry, all of those things. Put in $18,000 to $20,000, and you just saved that buyer $40,000 to $50,000. So you are going to see a return that way. You will.
And in a hot market, I would think, position your house to get the highest value, knowing that you're going to sell quickly is probably a very positive thing to do. And if you're going to get back a return off that investment, it makes perfect sense to go ahead.
Absolutely.
And
So this is
incorporate that.
Yeah, and it's taking it a little bit further beyond the staging. I mean, pretty is nice, but this is going a little beyond the soft. This is going into the hard. And getting the hard elements in the home to be appealing for that buyer.
Of course, the danger here is if you're a listing agent, and Lois going to test, so that you'll get the house so beautiful, they go, we really don't need to move.
Okay, but you know what? That's the other side of it, because there have been clients who've come to me and been like, we need to do this to sell, and they fall back in love with
their house, right?
they re-fall in love, or however you want to say, with their home again. Like, why are we leaving them?
Just out of curiosity.
Oh, go ahead.
If you were selling a home in a neighborhood that the home was a little more dated, they don't have the granite countertops and some of those kind of things. As our caller said, hey, it's a hot market. I know I could put the house on the market and I could sell it, right? And if I listened to my realtor and I cleaned the clutter and I did the basics of landscaping and all this sort of thing, I'm like, hey, I'm going to get the max return for the house I've spent on it. Would you ever recommend, and this I guess maybe a question for both of you, in that setting, would you recommend, say, hey, it's worth it? I know you can sell the house. It's worth it to update the counters and to spend a little money on granite countertops and to do a little bit of the bathroom remodel because your value that you can get increase is going to exceed what you would spend in that upgrade. Would that ever be a recommendation?
Well, Lois, I don't know if you agree with me, but after we heard her say earlier, I totally just blacked out my mind. We didn't hear anything.
My answer to all those kind of questions is it depends. Where are you? What kind of changes you're doing? How much you're spending on that upgrade? It depends. And I mean, if you went out and got all Viking equipment for your kitchen and things like that, you're not going to get a 25% return on that.
If you're putting Viking, if you're doing Lake Honoro, if you're doing 5-star, none of those appliances are going to fall in your $18,000 to $20,000 budget that you're trying to see a return. But what I was going to say, hang on one second.
Beautiful.
Wow.
That's great.
Shush! She even pointed the finger at you too.
I did.
It was awesome.
My finger was right in his face.
I had a 5th grade
What
flashback all of a
I
sudden.
remembered, what Lois had said earlier, was that how she said that middle market and let the buyers drive that bid up. You are going to get that bidding war when you have that appeal in there. Put those granite countertops in, and maybe, I hope you agree, you're going to see that bidding war. That's what you're going for.
Because they don't want to do that. I mean,
Yeah, they'll drive the price
The
up.
buyers don't really want to have to do more work when they're coming in. They'd like to have it already in place to their taste, of course. And
I guess kind of where I was getting at, I'm thinking in my own head. Okay, so we have old countertops.
I know, because you're ready for us.
Yeah. Yes, I know. My wife has already
This
taken
is
down
the
your
show that
number,
you're
your
sold.
This is the show that
website.
you get
This
sold.
is the show you're sold. Between Lois and Jessica, it's a done deal.
And so I'm going, we have the older countertops, but we've we've remodeled the floors, and we've had a bunch of stuff done in the house, so it's got decent appeal. But I'm going, okay, I could spend a couple, $2,000-3,000 on the kitchen countertops and all that sort of thing. Would be worth it? Is it worth the effort? If I knew I was putting the house on the house for sale, is it worth doing that kind of stuff? Would I see a return on the investment over the long haul? Typically, I know, I wouldn't put you on the spot and say.
No, but the first thing I would ask them is, what is your budget? We start from there, because if their budget is only $2,000 or $3,000 and they still have the old brass ceiling fans from the 1970s,
hey, I like my brass
let's
fan.
start with the fixtures and those items, and then we'll get to the kitchen. But if their budget is, say, $5,000 or so, and I already know that they're going to get a huge return on that, then I say, yes, let's go ahead and put in the granite. Let's put some lipstick on the pig, and let's get that handled.
So my house is now a pig.
A pig, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But you can make it a skirted pig
A
with
skirted
You can even
I
put,
love
a little
that.
tutu on it. You can put some nice little shoes.
I love that.
Some lipstick. You could even put a tiara.
Nice.
There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to it.
But it does
So-
make your house sell.
It doesn't make your
and
house
it will
sell.
get people in a war because I want that house because that stuff is already done.
It's done.
It's-
And that house that you looked at prior to,
I'm
it's
gonna have
not.
to do it.
We know we are coming up against a break again
Let's just
right
don't do a
now.
break this time.
Exactly right. So Jessica, let us
needs
know how we can reach
sponsors?
you if you don't mind.
Okay, absolutely. You can go to www.jbiaonline.com, like Jessica Brown, Interior Architect. You can also reach me on the telephone, 832-305-7305.
Say that number one more time.
832-305-7305.
Well, we're coming up against a break right now. When we come back, I'm going to go over some things that I have discovered, basically, and it's on the internet. Internet makes us all experts on stuff, doesn't it? But, one of the things it does...
But you can't get the experience.
You can't get the experience, right? But one of the things we're going to go over also is some of the changes and the upgrades associated with, upgrades to live in the home that you can actually make improvements on that maintain its value, and upgrades that actually enhance value if you're looking to sell it in the future. We'll go over some of those changes, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Cinders and a mouse, a hole and a trap. I don't worry about the flights or count the stairs, 'cause I know someone's there.